welcome back to Cast of the Whills. I'm your host, Will, and with me is my good friend, Lucy. Today, we're going to be talking about the Star Wars tabletop role-playing game. But before we do that, I should probably introduce our very first guest on the podcast, Lucy. So, Lucy, I'm going to put a few rapid-fire questions your way, so I hope you're ready for these. Favorite Star Wars movie?
Episode 3.
Episode 3? Okay, that's a good one. Reliable, solid.
Banger.
Favorite character?
Oh, that's difficult. I'm tempted to say Yoda. He's
Hell
always
yeah.
just so fun
Yeah,
on screen.
Yeah, especially in episode 5 when you first meet him.
Oh, crazy.
He's just so annoying.
Crazy. Oh,
Yeah.
I love him. Just
Yeah.
beating the hell out of
And
R2.
or like a lamp or something. And then he's all the fun in 6, but he's just like, I'm done with this. I'm going to die now. Luke, you can defeat the Emperor. I'm just going to die.
Yeah, and then you go back to the prequels, and it's just like this freak has like a backstory, and you're supposed to take him seriously, but he's like a frog. And Anakin's like, I need to talk to someone wise, and I need to talk to my master, and it's Yoga from Episode 5. Like,
I know it is really interesting. We won't get too much into Yoda and all that, but yeah, obviously in 5, the audience isn't meant to know who he is, but in the prequels, you're meant to know who he is, so they do a different approach to the character. So, my most important question for you: what is your favorite piece of Star Wars music?
I mentioned Episode 3 is my favorite. So Battle of the Heroes.
Battle of the Heroes, that is a classic.
So good. Oh.
Yeah, we talked about that one last week, and it was especially like the vocals and the role that the vocals play in that theme are really, I think, important and powerful, and especially the way John Williams uses the orchestra in that piece of music. It's a very important piece of music, and like I said, I maybe prefer it over Duel of the Fates. I think maybe it's the scene that influences that opinion, but that is a really powerful piece of music, I think, in all of Star Wars.
Yeah. It's really like exciting when that scene comes up, because like Episode 3 is kind of a compilation of really just exciting moments, and it's like, all right, they're about to scrap, they're about to go down, like destroy each other. Whoa. And it's like, it starts sounding in the so great.
So how Lucy and I met each other, we met I think 2017-ish.
It was like when Overwatch came out.
Yes, yeah.
It's like 16,
so 2016.
No, because we were there for Winter Wonderland.
We were, so maybe it was 2016. So we met online gaming. And then I remember the second time we met up in person, you came to my place and we watched Revenge of the Sith.
We did,
I know.
yeah.
So I find once again, Star Wars is playing an important, role, theme in a lot of my relationships. And obviously now we're talking about the Star Wars campaign, everything that's played. But I know like throughout the years, we always talked about, kind of Star Wars a bit. And especially the past few years when we've become really good friends. I feel like, once again, Star Wars has played that role probably because I just force it on you. But something really interesting, a reason I really love your perspective on Star Wars is I feel like you've always been in the sphere of Star Wars, but you've never like fully dived into it.
Yeah, I didn't watch the originals.
Yeah, I know, until
recently.
And something you said to me a while ago, and it's really stuck with me, is you said, whenever you watch Star Wars now, it's to give context to the campaign we're playing. It's like you're not actually watching Star Wars for the sake of it. It's, okay, I need to understand this campaign more, so I should probably do the homework beforehand.
That guy looks a lot like the mysterious stranger.
We'll get into that later. But that is, I think, such a unique perspective. I don't think many people would have that perspective of their first time watching Star Wars, or the lens they view it through is for a TTRPG campaign. So that's why I really love your perspective on Star Wars. So now we've introduced you, maybe we can get into today's topic, which is the Star Wars tabletop role-playing game. So for those who aren't aware, what is a tabletop role-playing game in general?
Well, I've got a very long history that I can't tell you too much about, but basically, D&D, that's like the one that you think of, become super popular recently, but it's been around for quite a long time. And kind of like a board game, it's a role-playing game, and before games, say like Final Fantasy and stuff, where it's all about stats and stuff, you're role-playing at a table, you have your character, and you're playing them, you're rolling dice to use your abilities, and yeah, I mean, like, you'll usually have a game master in charge of the game. They're the one that usually manages the story and the encounters, decides, what type of enemies you'll be fighting and all that sort of thing. You tell your GM, hey, I want to try and do this thing, and they'll translate that into the rules of the game in general. They'll say, you want to do that? Make this skill check for us. Yeah, and I mean, there's a bunch of them. You go to any game store, and there's usually a bookshelf dedicated to so many
Yes, I've noticed
RPGs.
that.
Like,
Yeah.
just about every fandom has one. There's, obviously the Star Wars one.
Yep.
My girlfriend loves Transformers.
Yes.
And there's a Transformers one, which
It's like a Warhammer one, a Fallout one,
there's
like any
for
IP that
everything.
exists.
Yeah,
Marvel,
you can make it
yeah.
into a TTRPG, and some of them have much stricter rules.
Yep.
Some of them are completely homebrew. They're not based on an existing IP. And well, yeah, like they're everywhere. They're really, really popular, common, and oftentimes the one that people start with is D&D.
Yeah.
And oftentimes people can get into playing D&D and changing a lot of rules because they're like, I don't like
Yeah.
this as much, or I want to do a Fallout D&D campaign
Yeah,
or a
yeah,
Star
yeah,
Wars
yeah.
D&D campaign, and it's like there is an actual separate
Yes.
role-playing game you
Yeah,
can play for that. But it works, people love D&D because it has a very simple sort of rules. Just TTRPGs in general, they're very nerdy, right?
Yeah.
And so especially recently, they've become much more popular for people to play, and it's a great thing.
Yeah. And I think the fact, not to dumb it down, but it is just playing make-believe with your friends.
It totally is.
Which is a lot more fun than it
It's
sounds.
so much
yeah,
fun.
I always thought it was like, it's nerdy. Like, it is nerdy, yes. But it is so much fun once you
Yeah.
kind of stop caring. And another thing I found, we'll get into this later when we talk about GMing generally, but is that when you play a TTRPG, the rules are more like guidelines, because like the people who make the game aren't going to come down to your table and enforce the rules. It's more just, here's a suggestion on how you can interact with the dice, with the system. But ultimately, it's up to you. You can cut out rules. You can add rules. We did that ourselves in this game. We've added new rules into it and got rid of some that we thought didn't work. And I think that's what's very unique about TTRPGs is you can really customize them and tailor them to your group that you're playing with. Whereas other board games, you get the pieces, you get the set, and you have to play it a certain way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's the concept of the rule of cool, which
Yeah,
is a
yeah,
big
yeah,
thing
yeah.
where it may not fit to the rules, but if the thing you want to do is sufficiently cool enough, or maybe it's not too high stakes, it's like we'll forget the rules for a second. We'll let that run. And a lot of tables do homebrew rules, or what's called I've forgotten the name, but basically a table rule. It only exists in your game.
Yes.
In D&D, one of them might be the bonus action to drink a potion, which normally it takes an action, but most people agree.
Yeah.
It's a bonus action. It's not that hard. You sip
Yeah.
the potion. And a lot of games have that. It just comes down to what do you want to do? What are your friends into? And what do you all enjoy? And that is like, the ultimate strength, like you mentioned, of TTRPGs is that the book gives you everything you need to be able to run stuff. It gives you a rule for any things you might be confused about. And then you take it from there. You pick what you want. You don't use what you don't like. You can make your own story, add your own characters. Things don't need to work out exactly as said by the book. Because like you said, John Hasbro is not going to come in and say, how dare you? How dare you?
Yeah. So something else I find really interesting about like TTRPGs and D&D and all these kinds of games is the character creation. Obviously, there's a infinite amount of possibilities you can do. I know in Star Wars, there's 6 classes, each with 3 subclasses, and then you got the expansions. And there's 3 settings for this game, which we'll get into later. But I find the expression in the game quite interesting, and I think there's been some literature on the ability for tabletop role-playing games to help people with like therapy and getting through tough experiences, because you can work through, I guess, real-life situations in the safety of being around your friends and having that, I guess, separation between yourself and the character. And I think that's something that's really, I'd say, powerful and interesting about these games is how they've been able to help people deal with these issues.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's, I guess, a lot easier to express yourself in a meaningful way without, say, the irony and stuff when it's Henry the human pirate doing it instead of, instead of you. You have a lot of troubles in those sorts of ways. I know that a lot of like queer people and stuff have stories where they're like, oh, I'm just going to play this character that's a girl. It doesn't mean anything. And then, it's really great for...
Would you be speaking from experience on that one?
I was trans before I started playing D&D, but it was also a great excuse to have a bunch of female characters I could play of all different types of like cool women, and I really love that because there's a certain creativity about TTRPGs that lets people express their creativity, basically. So the average person wouldn't really have something they can use as an outlet in that way.
Yep.
Or a lot of people, there's all different outlets you can do for that sort of stuff. You could do art, you could do music. A lot of people have characters they like in fictional, stories. And they have a bunch of, like popular themes from those types of things that, they want to incorporate. Gags that they might include, interests, styles, like personalities.
Yep.
And original character is something that a lot of people sort of have to convey those things.
Yeah, okay.
There a lot of people don't really have original characters. D&D is one where it necessitates you have an original character.
Yeah.
Even if you're given a pre-generated, pre-constructed character, you're going to add your own parts that you're interested in onto that character.
Yeah.
You're given a stoic sort of sniper, and you're like, I think it's fun when the stoic character every now and then cracks a joke that shows that they're a little bit goofy.
Yeah.
And it's really like, it's nice. If I had to look at it in like a really artsy sort of way, I'd say that TTRPGs allow for people to explore those parts of themselves and explore creativity in ways that they, on average, might not. Yeah.
That's awesome. So now is the part where I get to grill you and test you. Would you mind explaining to everyone what is the TTRPG we're playing right now? And if you could give us a brief overview of the story.
Yeah, well, this is Star Wars Force and Destiny role-playing game. I don't think the campaign is named.
No, I might not have. I don't know. Apparently it doesn't.
No, apparently
it doesn't. Yeah.
Shadows of the Jedi?
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, all right.
You did well. I had to double check it quickly because I was like, I don't know if you've forgotten it. Yeah. I'll add quickly, we're playing Force and Destiny. There's also Edge of the Empire, which is the scoundrels bounty hunters. And then there's Age of Rebellion, which is your Empire versus Rebellion. And I'll get into later why I chose the Force and Destiny module, but...
Yeah, well, we're playing like, the Jedi and Force and Dark Side and everything focused one. It's really fun. Do you want me to talk about the lore of the campaign so far?
I would love you to, yeah.
Well, starting off, there's 3 characters, 3 players in the campaign.
Yeah.
Plus the GM, so we're a 4-player group. Each of the characters had a prophetic vision of sorts when they slept, almost as if some force came to them and pushed them in the direction of a sort of ocean kind of island on a far-off planet. This force vision, or vision of sorts, brought us to this island, where we all got there of our own means, and our 3 characters met for the first time. The first of us actually, I think, was my character, Gunmari Gun.
Yeah.
She's a Zabrak, kind of like a monk type of character. She was raised in a temple by another Zabrak, her master, Brakir. They're both Dathomirian Zabrak, but they live off of Dathomir, and Gunmari has never lived there and has just learned all the ways of Dathomir through Brakir. I think this next to show up was Lila Chi.
Yes.
Which is, she's a Harch, so a big spider girl. And she's very cute. She has 2 dads. One is a Harch who... Is this spoilers to say? Was a...
Maybe we can save that if we do a part 2. We can park that.
Of
yeah,
course.
yeah. Yes. Only what people know so far.
Yes, okay. Well, I'll take it back to Lila has 2 fathers.
Yes.
Who, she lived on a farm planet, basically. It was a humble life. And she left. She had an argument with them, seemingly over this vision that she had, and ran away in the night. She's kind of a young Harch, but very bubbly, very sweet. And the last of us to show up on a big, expensive ship was Zerzor. He's a Faline, which are the green sort of folk. They appear in Clone Wars.
Part of the Black Sun Syndicate.
Yeah, Maul kills like all but one of them.
Maybe that's
utmost fate. Yeah, just
yeah.
But
his dad.
Yeah, exactly. They all I know of them is that they seemingly have pheromones that they exude.
They know the pheromones.
That has a mechanical reflection in the game. And we all met there. We all had the same vision, and we sort of just figured, all right, well, let's go see what we need to find. Go onto this island. Meet some people. There's some scrappers that were fun. I don't remember their names.
Zeno and Xena.
I always forget, but they were
It was the first
fun.
time I had to make up names on the spot. Yeah. So you can tell I maybe struggled a bit.
Oh, no, you did very well. The fact that you remembered them as well is very impressive. That's always the worst as a GM. I'm just like, dang, they've asked me this character's name,
Yeah.
and then I forget it like straight away. And it's like, what was this character's name again?
Yeah.
So Zeno and Xena, we meet them. Gunmari, I think, knows their language and
Yes,
chats
she
with
does.
them. And that's
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
And so they sort of figure out like where they should go from there. And they sort of go a little aimlessly on this island for a bit until they meet a mysterious hooded stranger.
Yeah.
A very frail looking build,
Yeah.
kind of really.
Definitely not inspired by Luke in The Force Awakens. No. Very original idea.
Exactly. And he beckoned us towards him and then walked off. And Lychee, she's a very brash individual. She ran straight after him, and we all chased her until we found like a ravine, and it was like such a rush. We got to get to this guy. For some reason, we're in a rush, and we try and cross the ravine. I think Lychee makes it, but then I think Zer tries, and Lychee's the big strong one of the group. She can jump across the big ravine. Zer and Gonmari are not, and they struggle, and they're like falling, and immediately Gonmari breaks one of the core tenets of her character. She has a weapon called a Zaboka, which is a double-sided blade, which she swore like is like, the ultimate reflection of her culture, and she would protect it. And
very sacred and ceremonial.
Very sacred and important. And as someone's falling down this thing, she uses the Zaboka to like let them to like grab onto them, like hook under their shirt and then pull them up with the leverage.
Yeah.
Horrible damage to the thing. Gonmari was not happy with that, but like that's
for this guy. She meant like half an hour ago, maybe.
Exactly. This is the type of core, like the character development that happens when things don't go as you expect in a TTRPG. Which is, it's great. You whether you like it or not, are going to develop your character. And so that's like, all right, there you go. Gonmari's doing that now, and she feels unsure about it. They eventually get across the ravine. They get through these trials, and they meet the mysterious figure.
They do.
He takes off his robe, not his whole robe. He takes off his hood, and he is a very handsome.
What is he?
What
I don't remember ever describing him as that.
What species is he?
Mirrorland. So like Luminara Unduli
Right,
from Clone
of
Wars.
course,
That
yes.
species. So like the green with like the markings on the forehead.
He's got black hair, green skin. I say he's handsome because my girlfriend draws him as very, very good looking.
Okay, yeah.
And he sort of gives us some of that Force mysticism in the way. He says,
keeps it vague.
The vision you had, it was an otherworldly sort of, not otherworldly, in a way that he doesn't say the Force. Because
he doesn't allow
the
to,
Force has awakened within you.
It is your force and destiny.
And basically we all decide, this thing, the Force that, sort of willed us here and guides us, we want to learn more about this. And for Gonmari, she's the type to follow a master.
Yes, she is.
Is willing to train under him and follow him. And so follow him they do.
Yeah, they do.
They get on his ship. And they head to, I believe, a moon that was off of... Alderaan, right. That had a old, like, Jedi temple sort of thing on it. We go through some trials to go through there. There was puzzles and the like, and we didn't roll very well on the skills to identify a lot of that stuff, so I'm sure a lot of lore that was written did not go stated.
Maybe, yeah. Oh, well, it's a learning curve for everyone.
It'd be like that. You never know what to prepare for in an RPG.
Yeah.
So we made it to the end of the temple and eventually found a Jedi holocron.
Ooh,
mysterious,
exciting.
Old, ancient, archaic knowledge
yes.
That the Republic held on to but has been scattered. This knowledge, we went back to the ship and Zer meditated with us to open the holocron. I think that you require the Force to be able to open the thing. And we sort of shown in an immersive experience all sorts of old knowledge that osmosises into our brains. And we feel, enlightened in a sense by it. And Zer tells us this is why we're here. This is what we're, traveling for. Lauren, sorry, Zer.
Yeah, that's right.
They're both green.
Yeah. Not even like half an hour in it already.
This is what we're here. This is what we're searching for. Like, this is our purpose.
Yeah.
And so there, you got the setting of the campaign that the
Exactly.
next
They're off on their adventure,
sessions would go off on.
Yeah.
I believe the next planet we went to was Eridu.
Yes, it was.
Is that right?
Yes.
Eridu is a very class-heavy planet. You've got the low-class city, which is full of the dregs of society. It's a hive of scum and villainy.
Yes. Ooh.
And we don't have a good time there. Lauren's not joining us on this mission because he doesn't want to be seen or something, but he has someone who is on the inside, basically, that we're trying to meet so that we can get this important thing that we need to find. So try and work through the lower city. Gon Mori gets offered a like little stim pack that was like kind of rusty and old or whatever by a guy on the street. It basically scammed her out of it. It was far more expensive than it should have been.
Actually, what was funny about that, the stim pack was normal and he was selling it for market value. It was just he was acting that way. So I was like, this will get the impression that something's up, but it's actually completely normal. And I wanted to see how you guys would react to that kind of situation where like it's just perfectly fine. He's just acting.
Yeah, even the fact that I remember it as being rusty.
Yeah,
and
it's like,
being
no, it was
way
fine.
overcharged. Yeah, but he hands the thing to me. I'm holding it, and then I'm like, no, I don't want it. And so I'm not like paying him. I'm trying to give it back. And he's like, stealing.
Credits,
It's cards, and it's okay, all right, whatever. You can have our credits. And we don't have much credits. We're not rich people. We're not even we haven't known each other for that long, and I don't have enough credits. So I have to ask Zerzor, who has the money, like, hey man, can you spot me for this? So we don't like this place. We get into a scuffle trying to find some information. We need to get a safe breaker, like a shield circuit breaker. And we have to do some dirty work for that and beat up some guys in a shop that was like a rival of this engineer that we found. Eventually we get through all that and none of us are happy, and Lai Chi especially is, she's got a very bright view of the world and she's just upset that everyone wants to take advantage around here. We get to the sort of upper class area. There's a university on Eridu, very high class, very important people. They've got, they take your weapons at the gate and everything.
Well, university doesn't do that.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, they don't take your weapons at the gate when you enter the lower city. So we get up there, and people are rude. They're snobby. They talk down on the lower city. I think we see a guy like abusing a homeless man, and we try and help, but you don't want to get into a fight type of thing. It's dangerous. So we go to the university. And I believe we had false identities. That's right.
We did forge that, yeah.
Yeah. So we got forged false identities that allowed us to enter the university. We get in there. We actually catch a seminar. We sit in on that one.
Yes.
That was a lot of fun.
But the proctor of the university, he was like close on your tail the whole time.
He was
as soon as you entered, he was
suspicious.
suspicious of you and was following you the whole time.
Yeah, and then we catch his class and stuff. Zerzor does very well on the test.
He got 4 out of 5 on the quiz.
4 out of 5 is very good. I got like a 2 out of 5. This guy hated me. We ask this this proctor, can we go to the med bay? We need to, I'm a medical student.
Yes.
We need to get
stuff.
like some stuff done for an injury type of thing. And he's like, yeah, sure, you can go there. And then we go to the med bay. It's next door. It's right there. And we talk to the guards. It's like, hey, this proctor, say it by name and everything, said that we could come in.
You can see.
You can see him right there. The guards, go, let me check, give him a call. And then it's like, proctor says no. These people on this planet are just mean at every turn, these rich folk as well. They just, they look down on us and everything. I think eventually we have to, we can go into the library, can't we? Yeah. We go into the library. Well, we do actually go into the med bay. And
you do eventually,
sort that out and stuff. We meet a nurse there who, wasn't the nicest, but they helped us out.
I feel like she was pretty nice. Shows took good care of you guys.
Compared to the others, she was a bit rude.
Comparison.
Yeah, it's like she helped us, but she was like rude.
Yeah,
like,
that's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
And so we go to the library, which is where we're supposed to go. It's like the 87th floor or something. Has the
66th floor, I believe.
Whoa, suspicious. Yeah, it has the suspicious item we need to get.
Yes.
So we basically split up, figure out where it is. 66th floor. I think we meet our contact.
You do.
At that time.
Yes.
He tells us it's on the 66th floor. And we all go up there together. It's a very suspicious room. he basically sends us in and does not come with us.
No, he doesn't.
It's like a dark room. There's like droids standing
yes,
around.
2 security droids in front of the casing. And
Yeah.
there's like one light perfectly on the book, and the rest of the room's in darkness.
Yeah, the rest of the room's in darkness. There's bookcases all in the rest of the room.
Yeah.
And there's like rafters in the ceiling and everything. The one light shining down on the case is so like James Bond Mission Impossible. You know, like how are you gonna steal this? We managed to. I think we
stealthily, which I was not expecting.
We had Lychee, who's very strong, grabbing at the rafters and climbing across.
Well, she's got 6 arms, so she does a lot of acrobatics.
Exactly. Yeah, 6 arms, very strong. She can climb around. And we slightly move the light over. I think Zerzor uses the force. It's not like it's not obvious, but part of the spot is like obscured.
Yes, yeah.
Lychee manages to grab it. Climbs up, climbs out. This, by the way, I'm making this sound very quick. This took like multiple hours of planning and figuring out what we wanted to do. It happens, you know, RPGs.
That's part of the fun of it, yeah.
It is. It was a lot of fun. And we were playing like Mission Impossible music
because in my head I was like, all right, this will be like 5 minutes. And then it was like an hour and a half later.
Exactly. It's like, we're all just like, we want to go home. And you're just like, it should have been over an hour ago. So we steal the thingy. We try to leave. We can't get the control panel on the elevator to work. Oh. Lila makes an engineering check, punches that thing, and fixes it. Yeah. This is a theme that will be popping up multiple times.
So,
Lychee is the dedicated engineer of the group.
Just break it and it'll probably work.
Exactly, and it did. So the elevator catches us. We go all the way down, and we're we're scared. We're like high alert. You know, do they know? And we get off on the 2nd floor of the library and then take the stairs down.
Which was a good idea. I never even think of that.
Just in case.
Just to scout,
we, I think, find our contact again.
Yes.
And we chat with him. Helps us sort of leave. And as we're leaving, we're like going for the front door. Proctor finds us again. And he's like suspicious of us. Yeah. And it's like, oh, you know, we're just borrowing this book or whatever. And I think Gonmori had the thought to take the book and put it in another book sleeve.
Very smart idea.
Which again took probably half an hour of planning.
It probably did, And it was one of those things. If you didn't do it, I would not have thought about it.
You would not have cared. You wouldn't have done anything.
I was like, that was an intentional part of the story.
Yeah, with how suspicious everyone was of us the entire time, you just got to take the precautions. And so the proctor kind of stops us, and it's like suspicious, scary, and he lets us go, and we're walking away. It's like, okay, this is fine. And then we cut to outer space, I believe, in a somewhat meta way of the camera, the Star Wars kind of camera screen wipe being referenced to a Star Destroyer.
The Bridge of a Star Destroyer,
Bridge of a Star Destroyer, which has appeared above Eridu. An order is called out by a officer that does not seem happy about the order they're making, but they know they must do it. And the Star Destroyer begins firing on the planet, at the city, at the university. Mass destruction, hail,
By the way,
fire.
should give some context. This campaign takes place after episode 6,
Yes.
few days after. So
And
you might know what's happening here
Yeah.
after the events of episode 6,
Exactly. We, the players, learned after this session, this is what's known as like the
Operation Cinder.
Operation Cinder.
Yeah.
Where just the whole planet got glassed.
Yes.
It was
That happened across the galaxy. The Empire just blew up a whole bunch of planets, whether they're loyal or not loyal.
ridiculous, terrifying, and I didn't know about this as someone who is pretty casually into Star Wars.
Yeah, which is
and
fun.
was confused and scared, didn't know what was happening. So our characters are freaking out. We need to get out of there, but our minds are screaming to us that we need to help people and save people. Like we're good people in general.
Yeah.
And what's happening here is ridiculous. Lychee especially really wants to save someone, is looking around for anything. And we find the nurse from the university is trapped under some rubble. Lychee runs over despite all the explosions, lifts the rock and gets her out. And she's got like an injured leg, so she's helping carry her
over her shoulder.
Exactly. We make our way all the way down to the lower city, where we're running towards the ship. We see the ship and, you know, the gates closing and everything. And I think Gonmori hears a shout at one point and goes to investigate it and tells her to come with her, but for Lychee to continue going to the ship because she was caring for someone wounded. We find under some rubble here in the lower city a character I didn't mention earlier, I forgot to, but a officer who inspected us when we first landed and was horrible to us and also scammed us out of a lot of credits.
He sorted you,
One of the reasons we were so upset to be on this planet. We did not like this guy, but we were confused and scared, and he clearly was too, and he wanted help. And so I think I lifted the rubble best I could while Zer tried to pull this guy out. And then we got to our ships together.
And
we got to the gate.
To leverage
I had to use the Zaboka again, which was, you know, it's getting ridiculous.
Just not even
at
a week
point.
in and you're just defying your whole life code. Yeah,
exactly. But it's nice. It's showing a lot of, you know, like this is the first time Gomori's left her planet.
Yeah,
her life is completely different right now. It's completely like uprooted and things are changing. And so they make their way to like the like landing bay where all the ships are, and the gate is closed, I believe. But the officer we saved has a card to get us through. So it just so happens the nurse we saved. Wow, I can't believe that Nad's thought of this. The nurse and the officer were married.
Yes.
And
well, we don't know if they're married, but we know there's
they're
something
partners.
happening.
Yeah, there's something between them.
When you land on the planet, the officer was like, "Oh, I know someone at university." And then I remember one of the players was like, "Oh, it's the nurse, isn't it?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course it's the nurse."
GM, that's good GMing.
That's good GMing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so he's grateful. He helps us get through this gate, and we can get to our ship. We have to make like a bit of a athletics check to get to our ship because it's like lifting off or like
the ship's coming off the planet,
coming off the ground. Again, Lychee's the strongest of us. The rest of us kind of weak. It's difficult.
Yeah,
but we all managed to get there. The ship leaves, get into hyperspace. We'll get into space and then into hyperspace to escape. Yeah. It was like traumatic.
Yes, yeah.
And then I believe our next destination was a certain planet of great insignificance.
Yeah, just ice and caves. Some
and
crystals.
Weird rocks.
Yeah.
Rock collection.
Yeah.
What was the planet's name?
I think it might have been Ilum.
Ilum. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Ilum.
Yeah.
The Kyber crystals. That's what they're called.
Yes, yeah.
And so we go to Ilum, our master Tavik, we're getting much closer to on this journey. We're all traumatized by this. And
keep in mind, Lychee's grown up on like a farm, like a very peaceful
very
farm,
chill,
whole
loving
life.
family.
And
no one has ever thought ill of Lychee or been mean to her.
Towards her.
Exactly. It's been horrible. And now she's just watched this planet get blown up for something they didn't even have a part in, right? She's so traumatized. I think she passes out because the force, like she feels like
just overwhelmed.
The impact of it all. So I think she wakes up multiple days in. She's crying, traumatized. She wants to sort of do something fun. And Gonmori thinks to herself, "What's something fun? Fun in Gonmori's mind is weak. She's very disciplined, very like I count the rations for fun. I make sure that like everything's in order. I clean the toilets, I guess. And she says, well, there's this traditional game that my master Brakir told me called Zabraksack. Yeah. She creates like effectively a hacky sack. Gets Master Lauren, who has not been super close to the party up until this point.
Yeah, a bit stoic, a bit distant.
Yeah, a bit stoic and distant. He seems kind of socially
definitely not
awkward.
a history there of getting close to people and it backfiring.
Exactly, exactly. Sure, like, there's nothing weird about it. He probably has a very happy childhood.
Yes.
And so we, he's getting close to us though, and we say, hey, we're going to play this game. Do you want to join us? And he joins us. Gonmori teaches the rules. You know, it's a game where you kick this sack at other people. If you can strike them in the head or the chest, those are points. If you strike them in the hand and stuff, doesn't really count. And you're basically trying to score points off of each other that way. Whoever scores the most points or gets to some amount of points wins. And so they start playing. Gonmori is like, I'll show you how it's done. And, hits a bang, like a real whip into Lychee's like arm.
The
misses.
one that was already injured, I think. It was already broken arm.
Kind of messed up. But, it's like, all right, that's sort of how it goes. But you're aiming for like the chest or the head and stuff. And then Lychee's like, oh, all right. And she's a spider person. So her feet can like just grab the thing. You don't have to be dexterous about it. She can just grab it. And they're muscular. She's a muscular girl. I have to reiterate. She throws it, I think at Zer.
Yes.
And knocks him on the ground. Bang! Slams like onto the ground. And Zer, he gets up and he uses the Force, which he's been training recently with Lauren.
Maybe just quickly going over everyone's Force powers, or maybe not Force powers, but just powers. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
a quick little rundown.
Yeah. Well, so Zer is the telekinesis type of thing, like you're able to move things around even though you're not touching them. Force shove things, force pick thing up about the size of a backpack.
Yeah.
Lychee, as I mentioned before, she's like, felt very connected to like the people dying and everything and passed out because of that. She's like force visions and sort of when she's in a pinch, she takes a premonition and she gets a cryptic kind of clue as to what she should do going ahead. And Gonmori, she's the doctor of the group. She knows medicine and everything. And she's interested in force healing. It's also force wounding, but she hasn't used that yet. It's the ability to like alter the body and stuff using the force to rip things apart or put them back together. So Zer uses his well-trained mystic arts to win really good at Zabraxak. Yeah. And I think he shoots an absolute pinger at like Gonmori and floors Gonmori like blindsides Zer. And then I think the ball lands near Lauren.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
He uses the Force to pick up the Zabraxak and then pick up Gonmori and just bang, 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, bang. Gonmori is out cold. She just introduced this game to these guys and they're already far better than it than she ever has been.
Archers do not play for fun. I learned that lesson.
I think the game eventually ends when everyone but Lychee is on the floor, like bloodied. Even Lauren, he gets hit with an absolute...
It's like a friendly, casual game from memory. Yeah.
Exactly, but you know what? It puts Lychee in a better mood, which was the point of it all, and they all had fun. And, it was a great moment seeing Lauren Tavik, this stoic Jedi Master, do something really goofy. Realizing, here's the stoic character and here's him being, like, way too serious about this, like, kid's game. So they've all made friends, and then they make it to Ilum.
They do.
They go down to the planet. It's, like, abandoned. There's no one here and anything. It's just all ice and snow and a cave, which we get to. We enter into this cave, which I think... there was a Jedi trial.
Yes, there was.
By... another green character.
I know.
The name
Sorry,
of a mysterious one.
Kit Fisto.
Kit Fisto. I get it mixed up with Master Plo.
Yeah.
But... Kit Fisto, he has sort of a puzzle for us, which I examine, and we do all the brain work for that together, and that's a lot of fun. Those little puzzles can be like a good time, even if it's like, why is there like a children's puzzle in the Jedi, like a sacred site? Yeah, true. Yeah, so it is a children's puzzle.
It was like not like a super advanced force technique.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Like it was meant to teach Padawans about collaboration and teamwork. It was like a school camp or something.
Actually, like that's a great point. It really worked out well. Like that, because there was the team that was like pushing the ball, and then there was the team that was reading the map, and saying like, "Oh, try going this way and then that way," and it worked out well. Good teamwork, and there was some sort of mystic lesson to be learned in it. Lauren Tavik recognized Kit Fisto and said that he was always a great teacher, very wise and kind. We get through that challenge, and we find ourselves in these sparkly caves where we split up. Each to find our own crystals. Each of us has our own experience finding a crystal. I believe Gonmori does very well, like looking through them all and finding one that looks of like the utmost quality. It's a good size. It's very nice. And she feels very connected with it. She takes that one. Lychee looks through this cave and finds a crystal that when she pulls on it, she gets it out, but it snaps in two. So she has two smaller crystals.
She does.
And then Zerzor makes his way into a cave, and he tries to use the Force to pull his crystal out, but has great difficulty with it, and sort of it feels very intense and very little dark in a way. And he pulls his crystal out. I believe it is like chipped or damaged, or it's like red or something along those lines.
Not red, but not severe.
Red.
But yeah.
It's like he's not proud of it. It's small. It's not very pure, and he feels a little like sad, or he feels a little like jealous, and ashamed. But we all have our crystals, and we continue out the sort of other side of this cave, where suddenly we cut to the sky, and there's the Empire is here. What's left of it? As we're surrounded by stormtroopers.
Yes.
And we also encounter a Inquisitor, I believe, or a mysterious
black robe with a
red
mask.
lightsaber, black robe. Who sort of like, we're captured, we're dead to rights here. A stormtrooper, like, I know a lot of stormtroopers in the movies is not that big a deal. In
this
Star
game,
Wars Force
they're
and Destiny,
insanely powerful.
they're the ones that are more accurate than any thing, as I think Ben
Yeah.
Kenobi said.
Yeah.
And so we are like, we're dead to rights. Lauren, though, pulls a lightsaber off of his belt. It's the first time we get to see him turn it on. A yellow blaze.
Ooh, what does that mean?
Ooh,
Yeah.
very menacing.
Yeah.
Trinity, my girlfriend, she immediately caught on that, he must have
It might
worked.
mean something.
This might mean that he's, his backstory in some way relates. So Lauren says, get out of here, go to Cato Nemoidia. Is that what he says? Or does he say a completely different name and I keep messing it up?
He said, no, just say Cato Nemoidia.
Cato Nemoidia. I got it right. The first time.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
so he says, go to Cato Nemoidia, do this thing. And he pushes us back into the cave. He crumbles rocks in front of us. We're cut off. And we don't have time to cry about it. And Maury is like, the master told us to, we need to go. So Lauren is fighting a Inquisitor and a bunch of stormtroopers, basically. We don't know if he's alive. We haven't seen him since proper. So we're running, trying to escape the cave. We use Lychee's premonitions to get an idea of which routes we should take, because some of them spell certain doom.
Yeah.
And we encounter stormtroopers. We get into a fight. Like, this is how dangerous stormtroopers are. There was like 3 of them.
Yes, yeah.
And this was like deadly scenario. We had to jump across some gaps.
Yeah.
And these troopers were like, the one shot took me to half health. The second shot would kill me outright. Thank God Lychee found a perfectly placed rock which she could throw at one of the stormtroopers and knock him out in Wilhelm scream fashion as he falls.
What I love about the Star Wars setting was, I said when she threw it, when it bounces off and you can tell the rock is made out of styrofoam. That's what I love about the Star Wars setting. You can say silly things like that, but like it makes sense. Everyone knows what you mean.
And the guy's like shaking his arms, like, oh, and then falls into the pit. Boom, boom. And so I think that's at the moment as well where Zerzor, he's like the resident sharpshooter. He's got a pistol and he's shooting people, and he's like, oh, these guys are out of my range. And I'm like, what do you mean they're out of your range? What type of blaster do you have? And he says like, oh, I've got like this light blaster or something. And I say, I have like a regular blaster that has that range. Never used it because I use my Zaboka. I'm like this monk type of character. I don't use like my gun that I have. And so I was like, give me that.
It's like Thor and Cap. It's like, no, you have the little one.
Yeah, you have the little one. So I get the little one, and he like bang shoots these guys out, and then we can continue. And we make it out to our ship. And we find that our ship is, I don't think it has like a lock on it or anything, but we get to the ship, there's like enemies there, we have to fight them off. I get pretty much demolished, and I'm just, Gonmari is a backpack for most of the fight. But Zerzor and Lychee do well, beating the heck out of these guys, and there's more coming after us. We're constantly having to run because there's so many after us. And Zerzor gets in the ship, tries to get it started. It's not functioning. It won't lift. What's the problem? Zerzor goes out to look. He makes a skill check to examine what's wrong with the ship. No dice. You didn't roll well enough. That's a wing. That's just a wing. Who knows?
Nothing wrong with it, apparently.
Every single turn that combat, he keeps checking, making the skill check. Looks like a wing, smells like a wing. Really don't know what to tell you.
Passed out.
I'm passed out. Lychee's like carrying me while beating the heck out of some guys.
And then Zer's just standing on the wing looking like a massive hole, being like, it looks like a wing to me. It's like smoke's coming out. Like, yep.
And it's the thing, right? Zer seems like the character that would be the resident pilot, resident engineer of the group.
For it.
None of his skills say that, though. I'm pretty sure Gonmari has equal or higher intelligence, for those skill checks. It's just that Zer seems like the character who would do that. He's like the crime guy, ships and smuggling, whatever. And so he can't make the check. It's not working. I think Lychee comes out after dropping off Mori, and it's just like, there's a whole panel off of the ship. The wires are freezing.
Sparks are going over.
So she gets up there, she climbs up there, Zer gets in the ship and starts like getting things, set up. Lychee shoves her jacket into the open panel to like insulate it, basically, give it some warmth. It works. I think a fire breaks out
does
when
on
the ship starts up because
very
of some
flammable
loose
jacket,
wiring,
yeah.
very flammable jacket, but at least it's not frozen.
Yeah.
We managed to get it flying. We're getting shot at. We get into space. It's like, all right, we can do this. Now we just need to go to hyperdrive. Hyperdrive doesn't work. What's the problem? Zer's trying to figure it out. We're watching as numerous TIE fighters from the nearby, I think it's another Star Destroyer, are flying at us. And it's like, a TIE fighter. Not that scary in the movies.
Yes, yeah.
You've seen what stormtroopers are like. You know that a TIE fighter is going to be a world-ending threat comparatively.
And I put like 3 your way as well.
Yeah, we're in a little cruiser. Like, this isn't like a high-functioning battleship. This is no like Anakin's ship. This is no like Boba Fett's ship.
Yeah.
And so freaking out. We can't figure out what's wrong with it. Make a skill check, and it's like, oh, have you tried rethrottling the fuel input capacitor? No, that's not the problem. And checking again and again. Gomori's passed out, by the way.
Yeah. Ship's like buckling because it keeps getting shot at.
Yeah, it's struggling. We're drifting in space, like spinning around. Lychee comes downstairs, wakes up Gonmori with like a stim pack and says, we need your help. So I go upstairs. I pull out the how to go into hyperdrive for dummies.
For dummies, yeah.
And reading it. Really, Star Wars, I was very performative male type about it. I was like very chill reading my feminist literature. And eventually managed to make a skill check after numerous failed ones. That's don't tell me you forgot to disengage the accelerator.
Bypass the
accelerator.
Yeah, that's
so you didn't bypass the accelerator. That's like number one. And so, bang, bypass the accelerator. Input the planet. We do. Input the planet. Planet not found. What is a Kino Nemoidia?
This is a bit mean.
This is the GM getting a bit having a bit too much fun. We're freaking out. Didn't he say Kino Nemoidia? Is that not in the system? What's wrong with it? It doesn't have like a search function where it's like, did you mean Kato Nemoidia? And so we're just Kino Nemoidia, this, that, saying all these names. Eventually, Kato Nemoidia. Bing. All right, quickly. And I think that's where that session ended. Intense, crazy, beautiful really end of a session. Fun. Yeah. And there's a break between that and our next session, like it's a pretty significant break. But we come back, and not only are we still traumatized from the cinder of Eridu, but the fact that our master Lauren is just gone, and we didn't even have much time to think about it. But he left, like we'd left him behind. So we're on our way to Kato Nemoidia. We don't know what to think. We don't have a master. We don't exactly know what we're doing. And a couple of days into hyperdrive. We're keeping an eye on the wing, first of all, to the best of our abilities.
Good as you can in hyperspace.
Some people better at keeping watch than others. Some people fall asleep
at the wheel.
At the wheel. We're keeping an eye on the wing. There's still a little fire breaking out in hyperspace and the jacket flailing around. We eventually fall out of hyperspace one day and then start falling.
So keeping in mind, it is lore accurate for things to be in fire in outer space in Star Wars. So that is
fair enough. Fair enough. I wasn't aware of your game. So we fall into the atmosphere of a nearby planet. We pass through the clouds, and then we see like thick foliage, trees, and we're just trying to keep this thing like gliding at least so we don't die crashing. We manage to a certain extent. We fall through the trees, we get tangled up in vines, and the ship is just barely held from going entirely under this swampy water. It's very much like in episode 5, I believe.
There's some similarities.
Some similarities. Where, a ship like submerged in the swamp and we have to get out of the ship. We get out. We are on this mysterious foggy planet, forest planet. It's dark. We look around and we find a like hut, a little house sort of carved into a tree.
Who else has a hut in Star Wars?
And Lychee had a premonition about this planet a little earlier that day, I think, actually. The fog, the hut, and a mysterious dark cave. Ooh. So we decide we're going to stay the night here. We can't sleep in the bed. It's like half our size.
Yeah, I'd say about half.
Weirdly.
Weirdly sized
some
bed.
Very small creature and stuff here. We go to sleep, but at some point, Gomori and Zerzor wake up to find that Lychee is nowhere to be seen. And the hologram she always carries around, a picture of her and 2 other men, her dads, is left on the floor. Lychee would never leave that. We know something's wrong. We grab it, we go out and we push the fog around to try and find her footsteps. And it leads us to Spooky Dark Cave. We go into the cave, but then it's like we're all separated from each other.
Ooh.
Mysterious.
Yeah, very
out
mysterious.
of game, the GM sends us to a separate room so that he can call us in one by one, and we can have our solo, like individual, dark force visions.
Yes, yeah.
And it's menacing. I can only speak for Gonmori personally, but she had visions of her old master who died. She had visions of Lauren, who Gonmori presumes to be dead, all blaming her for their deaths. She's very scared of the thought of people she cares about dying. That's like one of the big things about her, and the fact that she's been failing a lot with her medicine checks that she's been doing on the party. They're staying hurt, they're getting critical injuries, is making her very scared of that. She's starting to blame herself, and she's starting to feel a little resigned by this. And the cave takes advantage of that. The cave does the same for Lychee and Zer, acting on their deepest insecurities, and then spits them all out. And we're all in a horrible mood, and some of us are a little grumpy at each other because we had bad visions of each other. And
I found, as a GM, I found the Dark Side Cave is a great tool to... I don't know if you can do this like in D&D and other settings, but it's to really get the character on their own and then get into their psyche and make them confront their fears.
Oh, totally.
Like, it's a great way, especially early in the campaign when we had a bit of time to develop them a bit, but it really makes them evaluate their actions. Like, a big thing for Gonmori, I remember trying to hone in on, was she was just following anyone who just presented to be a master.
Exactly.
And she just blindly followed them, but then also playing on the fear of maybe she hasn't been helping people and healing people. She's really abandoned a lot of people maybe. Or at least the cave was presenting that truth to her. So I think, I don't know if it's exclusive to Star Wars, but I think the Dark Side Cave is a really powerful storytelling device, and being able to have the character literally confront the deepest fears. It's not like they're thinking about it. And especially in a TTRPG, you're used to having the two other people, or other people in your party.
Totally.
If it's like a tense moment, they can take over for you and you can sit back, or you can at least maybe crack a gag if it's appropriate. But in that moment, when it's you and the GM in a dimly lit room and it's not set up as it was normally set up, I think it's a great way
and
to
he's
really...
wearing dark menacing
dark
robes,
menacing robes,
and he's holding a lightsaber. In my vision, Lauren swung a red lightsaber at Gonmori, which Nads acted out with his red lightsaber, which he swung at me. It was terrifying.
But I think it's such a unique storytelling device in Star Wars to really have the character actually see their fears, and whether they're true fears or it's their subconscious. Like, for me, I won't speak to it yet because I'm not through the campaign.
Of course.
Whether or not Gonmori is good at healing people, but at that point in the story, I think it's fair to say she doesn't believe she's good at the job. I think
she's
that's
starting
what the cave
to
is
feel
presenting.
concerned that she might not be where she thought she was.
And it's preying on that fear, and that's why I was able to do that for all the characters, really honing on what they feared. And really having them by themselves and seeing how they react, because I think every player reacted differently. Some players accepted it as truth. Some completely denied it, which was quite powerful to see that. Some were tempted by it, I'd say. They weren't completely buying into it, but they weren't ignoring it. They maybe knew there was a trick, but there was a truth within the smoke and mirrors. So I think it was a really unique and special way to really dive into the characters. Maybe I could have saved it for later, but I think it was. I was just like, it would be too much fun to put in.
It was great.
Yeah, I feel like it's a really unique thing that maybe you can only do in the Star Wars universe pantheon. I'm sure D&D maybe has like a vision system, but
yeah, I mean, something that comes to mind is the fear spell, which is always a lot of fun in D&D, where if you use the fear spell on someone, it projects their deepest, darkest fear, and then they make a saving throw, and you know they become feared of that thing or not. And that can be fun sometimes, especially when people don't know the deepest, darkest fear of other characters. It appears that way to the to everyone based on the person you're targeting.
Cool.
So when I used it in one of my old campaigns, well, my first campaign, a character used the fear spell on Henry, a pirate in the group, and the thing that he feared was a blue dragonborn that none of the party recognized, which kicked off him telling his backstory and saying, I'll tell you who that was. Which is, really cool. But something I really loved about the Dark Cave was that for a majority of it, it's very traumatic things happening there. I've mentioned that Mori has a fear of rotting fruit. It's a very like weird fear of hers, but she has it. There was rotting fruit in the cave. It doesn't matter if you think it's like real or not. It's still rotting fruit. You're still like, oh, like it's
just
horrible.
the memories that it brings up. Yeah.
And then she sees her master, blaming her for her death. She knows her master is dead, but you know, she's there and she's seeing this. That is scary, regardless of if it's real or not. And so then she starts, you know, and it's acting on real fears of hers. Maybe she's actually starting to believe some of this stuff, especially the stuff they're saying. A lot of the visions, she was saying, no, I know it to not be true. I know it not to be true. And then by the end of it, you made her make a check against a certain difficulty and failed. The check, Gonmari failed. And you said, you know it to be true, which I think is really great, actually, because, you know, I was saying, like, you know, like, Gonmari was... No, it's not true. It's definitely not. But then you as the GM prompting, all right, character building moment, you believe this now. Okay. You say that you don't, but you do. And it was really great because now it's like, wow, that really got to her.
Overstepping, but that's good to hear.
No, it was really great. And so then when the cave spat us out, Gonmari is feeling like not angry towards her friends, but feeling like she can't protect them, like they're gonna die, like the pain they feel is her fault. She feels very distant from them. And she tries to offer the holocron back to Lychee, but Lychee smacks it out of Gonmari's hand, doesn't want to see it. I took this as Lychee having had a vision about Gonmari being like horrible. Turns out it was about her father's being horrible. And so we all just in a bad mood. We start walking back to this hut, back to the ship. But Gonmari has this weird feeling because she like moves ahead. She just wants to get straight to the thing. Gonmari has a vision, not a vision, a feeling, like the something like the Force that Lauren has returned. His energy, the sort of energy surrounding him, that weird pull is in the hut currently. She rushes ahead to see what it is. Again, she can't believe that this is true. She just saw him in the cave being horrible. She's got a lot of weird feelings. She goes in and there's a character sort of kneeling down by the bed, wearing dark sort of mysterious robes. She says, you know, like, show yourself to me. Who are you? She's holding her Zaboka. She's like freaking out, concerned. But when this mysterious stranger turns around, all of us feel like it washes over us a sense of serenity that almost completely clears away the anxiety of having been in that cave. And the mysterious stranger is some...
Don't know. Maybe describe him a bit and see if people can pick up on it.
He's got blonde hair. It's kind of short. He's got gorgeous blue eyes and beautiful dimples on him. Some Chanel boots under the robes. I think he might have,
really good advice, I would say. Very wise.
Exactly, very wise. Somewhat Jedi like type of character. He was kind of like
it was like a
Lauren.
Return of the Jedi.
It was like a Return of the Jedi of sorts, actually. It really gave us a new hope. So we felt, you know, immediately better.
He probably was the last Jedi.
Yeah, right? He is. One may say. But this guy's unlike Lauren. He is, you know, like calm, mystical, wise. Lauren clearly had a lot wrong with him. It was not a healthy man. And he sees that we just come back from the cave. He sees the cave and he looks at all of us. He might have been
in the cave himself at some point in his life.
But one may think he may know what it's sort of like. And he says to the party, what you saw in there does not have to come to pass. And all of us, just like it washes over us, he tells us advice, basically saying like that thing that you're worried about, and pointed out to like we didn't tell him about this stuff. He just says it's fine to let people go. It's fine for that. You know, you don't need to blame yourself. He says that to Gonmari. And gives that sort of advice to each character based on their particular anxieties.
And the big thing before this session was the one session I said, I don't want you to talk out of character. So then in that moment when he was giving advice to each of you, you could maybe kind of guess what the others had seen. Yeah, so that was something I really tried to capture in that moment.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't really talk about what we saw in the caves. We all just knew that we'd seen like, you know, deepest, darkest fears.
Probably something similar to everyone else. It wasn't good.
It was really bad. We got that point. In fact, when we first came out of the cave, I think Gonmari sort of checked it, like, are you all okay? And then Lychee smacked the thing out of her hand. So I was like, okay, no. So he gives us his advice. He sets us all at ease. And we get the gist. He's like a Jedi. But he's like different to Lauren, as mentioned. we tell him about the quest we've been on, that we've been, working with Lauren, and we found a Jedi holocron and that. And he says, well, I'm looking for that sort of Jedi knowledge and
history,
everything.
yeah.
Can I have it? I'm like, dog, you the homie.
No,
Put
this
it
guy
right in
for
his head.
30 seconds.
Known him for 30 seconds. Lauren said, like, this is the most important stuff in the universe.
Yeah.
And we're just like, you the home dog.
Yeah.
Give him that.
Yes, yeah.
And he was like, oh, thanks. That's really chill of you.
Yeah.
And so, he sets us off. He says, like, here's a little tracker thing. If you go to Coruscant, go to the lowest levels, there is knowledge you will gain there. I'm not telling you to do this. Like, this is for you to do. Like, if you want some direction. And so we all sort of thought about it. Do we want to go? Because we're on a mission currently for Lauren to go to Cato Nemoidia, which we would like to get back to. But having just experienced the Dark Side Cave and having just experienced this mysterious stranger, him telling us like all these things, we started to question, do we want to continue the way we've been going? Gonmori especially realized that her following masters in the same way is not working for her. She's not happy with it, and she wants to try something else. Luke isn't like a master for her to follow.
Luke? The mysterious stranger.
This Luke-esque character.
Yeah, very Luke-coded,
He's, like someone that she's kind of inspired by, but more that he inspired her to go off and do her own thing.
Path,
Exactly. And so she decided that's what she wants to do, and that Cato Nemoidia will come later. And so
which I wasn't expecting at all, which I loved. Because I assumed you'd do the Cato Nemoidia path and then the Coruscant, but
that makes sense.
I loved that. I love that you guys kind of switched it up.
Yeah. And so for the rest of the party also said, like Lychee said, Lauren didn't seem like someone who was making decisions that were like the best for him. Like we shouldn't necessarily follow him like he knows everything and like it'll take us to a good place, And so and then Zazor, he's like, dog, I like live on Coruscant. I guess I gotta go face my family. Let's do it. Whatever. I gotta stop running from that stuff. And so we go to our ship and I'm like, oh, still stuck. What are we going to do? If only there was some sort of like cinematic masterpiece that would inspire what we could do here. And the mysterious stranger is like, well, I actually have a little trick up my sleeve. He raises his hand and mystical focus lifts our ship out of the water, untangles it from the vines and places it for us. We're like, this is great. We can leave now. But the wing is still messed up. I guess we'll have to get a droid to repair that or something. Mysterious stranger's like, I got a droid. His name's, I don't know, it was like L2 or something.
Yeah, it's like R2.
R2.
What color was he again?
R2, a blue astromech, I believe.
Yeah.
Fixes the wing for us. Wow! And the wing is fixed. We're all set. We're happy. The ship's a mess because all the furniture's been flipped over. Our space chest table is in disrepair.
Like it wasn't already. But
like it wasn't already. There was bloodstains on it from a botched surgery job Gonmori had attempted. And so we get back in the ship. We get into space. We see the mysterious stranger off. We ask his name many times, but he never tells us. He's just a friend of someone who used to live there, apparently. And we get into space. And then we get the hyperdrive going after a couple failed attempts, which has become a gag now, seemingly. And we're off. But the session didn't end yet. We got a little bit of not a flashback, like a bunch of viewpoints from around the galaxy.
Call it a state of the galaxy.
A state of the galaxy, where we saw a lot of things. We saw a man sitting down for dinner with a big harch, surrounded by a bunch of other men that look like that man next to the harch. We see a mysterious Zabrak putting in some details on his ship and flying off. We see, let's see, is it like politician sort of officer character. Of note. I can't describe all of these because I'm sure in your mind these are the clearest references of all time.
What are you on about?
There's a character from like Star Wars Outlaws, I think.
Maybe I don't know. I can't remember. I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't know.
Very cool though. Tied in a lot of our backstories and stuff, and basically gave us a like, here's what's to come. It was kind of like a bunch of like after credit scenes. Stitched together.
It was very much meant to be the end of Andor season 1 and 2. There's a bit of like the state of the galaxy, and I use the music. It's called Past Present Suite from season 1, and when it does, it shows a few shots of where everyone is, and all the pieces being set up for whether it's the next season or Rogue One. And I thought it was just great. Like I was writing the session around the time Andor 2 ended, and I was like, oh, this is a great idea. Showing where everyone is, and hard thing with TTRPGs that we've talked about, because you're also a GM, is how do you give the players scenes that they're not involved in?
Yeah, that
to like, because obviously in Star Wars you see scenes where the villains are doing villainous things, but obviously the main characters aren't there, but that's hard to do in a TTRPG because the camera and the story is always with the main characters. So I keep trying to think of how can I give you. Once again, it's hard because I want to show you what the bad guys are doing, but then I don't want you to act like you know that information.
Exactly, because the audience is the players.
Yeah, exactly. So I can't tell you, not that this is happening, but if it was set at a different time, oh, Darth Vader's now hunting you. I don't want you guys to start acting as if you know that information when you're not meant to. Yeah. Don't worry, he died like a week ago.
Yeah,
so
real.
fine.
True.
Yeah.